All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, brothers and sisters all over the world. Habari za Sabui, Habari za China, Habari za Gioni, brothers and sisters all over the world. The name of this channel is The African Times, and I'm Thomas. Okay, everybody, we're back. Just a quick little note. I ran across a video of a senator, a United States senator, and he's having a talk with some military personnel, and I thought it was an interesting discussion back and forth between them for a couple of reasons. One, I want you guys to pay attention to there are two topics being discussed. One of the topics deals with uh, the military using deciding not to, like, they're not providing good housing for their military personnel on a couple of bases in this senator's district. Okay. The other issue is apparently there was an email that was that sent out to leaders or whatever in this particular area. I think it's Guam, the base, Guam. And it's telling them don't use the words he, she, his, hers, pronouns, things relating to the descriptive nature of a person that you're dealing with. And they mention in their age, but age is kind of spliced in the middle. So his, her, old, young, or something like that, and then she or he or something like that. I'm going to play the video so you can see it, and then I'll tell you why after that, why it's interesting. So hold on, let's get to the video. Hold on.
Work on it, and I can take that question for the record, please.
Well, that's fine. I mean, but let me just say again, for the record, I've said this in the full committee. I'll say it again here that I think we're past the point of continuing to kick this down the road. I mean, this is a problem now. Frankly, at Fort Leonard Wood, it was a problem a decade ago. But listen, I've been there. I mean, I've seen it myself. I've talked to the service members myself. I've been in their houses. I've been in their kitchens. I've looked at their bathrooms where there's mold growing. I've seen that they don't have places for their kids. I've seen the substandard living conditions, and it just isn't acceptable, General. You know what? I promised those service members that I'd be a royal pain in the you-know-what until something changed. So I'm keeping that commitment, and I'm going to continue it until something changes. And frankly, I've heard this now for, it's going on 2 years. I've only been in the Senate 3, but I've heard it continuously that, well, we'll get to it, we'll get to it, we'll get to it. Well, at Fort Leonard Wood, we haven't gotten to it. And I bet, we went around the table here, I bet that the other members of the subcommittee would have the same situation in their state. So I'll give you the question for the record, but I just want to put on notice again, and you can take this back, that I want to see some progress on this, and I want to see it soon. And what I don't want to see are any more commitments from the Army that they're going to spend X number of dollars. This happened last year. We're going to commit X number of dollars to Fort Leonard Wood, and then as it turns out, $0 were spent on housing. I'm still ticked off about that. And I don't want to see it happen again, and I want to see progress made. So that's my piece. I think you understand where I'm coming from.
All right, I'm back. Okay, did you see he's discussing the barracks? I guess apparently he feels that the barracks are not adequate. They haven't been taken care of adequately, and he mentions mold and other things that the soldiers are having to live in subpar conditions, and he's very passionate about it. He's upset, and he's like, "Hey, listen, this is something that I'm not going to tolerate." He said he's been a senator for 3 years, and this problem has been ongoing for 2 years. And then he goes, "Well, you know, I'm just going to be a pain in people's behind. I'm going to press you until it's fixed." Okay. All right, I appreciate his passion for that, and for me, there is a concern there because he said he's been a senator for 3 years, and during 2 of those years, he said this has been an issue. Now, it's military, okay? This war in Ukraine that's been taking place with Russia, special military operation, whatever they want to call it, it's been going on for almost a year, okay? If not a year. And I'm talking about the physical contact, the combat. The actual war, it's been going on a long time, many years. But you see how quickly they got those weapons over there? Did you see how quickly they got money sent over there? Billions. Billions. See how quickly they approved it? But yet, the barracks issue that he's speaking so passionately about just can't seem to be resolved. 2 years. And it's not 34 billion, 55 billion to solve that problem. Now that's the beginning of it. I really want you to understand. So now let's listen to this next part of the exchange where he's talking to this other. I think she's a general. Let's listen.
General Miller, let me come to you. Can you help me with something here? Anderson Air Force Base, I understand. This is in Guam, of course. Leaders there recently received an official email that prohibited them from using pronouns or descriptors like he, she, youngest, oldest, male, or female. Why is that? I mean, what's going on?
Senator Hawley, thank you for that question. Actually, that is we've been talking a lot about that because it was an email, from my understanding, that went out locally from one of the commanders there, and I don't remember at what level. I don't know if it was a group commander or the wing commander there. I believe that it was a Facebook post that went out based on a question. It is not the Air Force policy to not use pronouns, and so I think it was a social media, exacerbated by individuals that said that they were directed for that.
Okay, good. Well, I think that's progress. So you're saying, I'm looking at a news article here published August 31, 2022, saying that PACAF has sent this.
All right, hey everybody, listen. I just can't let this go. I had to jump in here. I need to point out to you guys to make sure you understand something. Did you hear at the beginning of his statement? He said, "I have an official email." Okay. Now, I'm going to address this later on in the video, but I'm just making sure you understand. I have an official email. And then this lady, he addresses her. He says, "Well, can you help me with that? Can you explain it to me? What is that?" And she says to him, "That's a good question. That is a good question. I'm glad you asked that." That basically was just a social media gaffe. I think it was something on Facebook. And, but it's not the official policy of the Air Force. Okay, now, did you notice? And he said, "Oh, okay, all right, that's good, thanks. All right, good, I'm glad. That's progress." Now, check this out. He started by saying it's official email. He never did one follow-up to that lady. He never said, was this an official email sent out by an official from the military? Now, clearly, he's already said that it did come out. It was sent out from somebody, some official, and she said it. But they never emphasized that. They just gloss over that. Then she says, "Well, it's not the official policy." You got to understand, it's not the official policy. But if it was sent by an official, it is then policy because it's coming from an official. Until you address it and then stop it and then say, "No, this is not the policy." But she couldn't even do that because later she goes on to say that,
What's going on?
Senator Hawley, thank you for that question. Actually, that is we've been talking a lot about that because it was it was an email, from my understanding, that went out locally from one of the commanders there, and I don't remember at what level. I don't know if it was a group commander or the wing commander there. I believe that it was a Facebook post that went out based on a question. It is not the Air Force policy to not use pronouns, and so I think it was a social media, exacerbated by individuals that said that they were directed for that.
Okay, good. Well, I think that's progress.
Okay, all right, here's where it's key to understand the contradictions, and that's a nice way of saying it. Contradictions in what she's saying. She just said she believes it's an email exacerbated by individuals who were directed from them. That's what it sounds like she said. It's the best I can make out of it. It's not as clear, but listen carefully. She said it's just an email exacerbated by individuals who were directed by them. And what she's talking about, remember, she said that the emails were sent by either the group commander or the wing commander. Commander, leader, that means the people who are in charge sent it. That's what they said. Go back and listen to it. The group commander or the wing commander, the leaders of the group. That's what she just said. And then you hear him go, oh, okay, good, that's progress. Progress in what? Just check it out.
So you're saying, I'm looking at a news article here published August 31, 2022, saying that PACAF has sent this letter around. Leaders of the base are instructed, do not use pronouns, age, race, etc. And they go on. The unauthorized examples of unauthorized language are male, female, youngest, oldest, he, she. But you're saying that was not an official communication. That has not been a directive.
That is not an official communication from the HAF. Correct.
Okay. And so, your position to me is today that is not policy, and that they have not been so instructed.
That is correct.
This is
that
social
is not
media
policy.
kerfuffle. I mean, this is not real. It's not happening.
I don't know if it's not happening, but it is not an official policy from the Department of the Air Force.
Okay. I ask because part of the way it's been reported is that the rationale is to help with lethality and also recruiting. And it was curious as heck how not using he, she can help with lethality and how it's helping with recruiting. But I take your word for it that this is not policy, and that satisfies me. So thank you, Madam Chair. So you're saying, I'm looking at a news article here published August 31, 2022, saying that PACAF has sent this.
Okay. Did you see that? Okay. Now, in this particular exchange, did you notice, did you pay attention, did you hear? That brother said, he said, there was an official email sent. He said it. He himself is saying there was an official email sent. Now, that's kind of strange to me because he's acknowledging that it was an official email, meaning from officials, military officials, I'm assuming, because he mentioned PAC and she mentioned something about PAC. She said it's not the official PAC policy. And then now look at his demeanor though. Check him out. He was very passionate about them soldiers in them barracks, wasn't he? But he raised this issue, but he was very cordial and he was very receptive to her response. Not it wasn't a pain in his side. No. So I'm just wondering, did he bring it up? And did he bring it up really for the purpose of getting to the bottom of it? Like he was saying he was trying to get to, and notice I said like he was saying he was trying to get to the bottom of the other issue. Okay? But in this case, no, he started out by saying official email. And then she went and said, well, no, that's some kind. And notice she started really kind of fudging. She wasn't really clear. She go, oh, well, I mean, it really wasn't an official email. It just social media, something with social media. It got put out but that's not really an official email. It's just social media that went out. And he accepted that. He accepted it. He didn't press her like he pressed the other people. He didn't even get overly passionate about it. He just said, oh okay, all right. Even though he said it was an official email, he said it. Then he said, you notice he said, are y'all really, the email said, don't use those pronouns. And he said, it just doesn't make any, why wouldn't you use the pronouns he, she, age, why? It just doesn't make any sense. And now on that, he's right. And then she comes back and she says, because he asked her, is that happening? Is that the official policy? She said, well, no, it's not the official policy, but I can't say that it's not happening. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? It's not the official policy, but I can't say that it's not happening. Now let me jump into people that look like me and you for a second, so that you understand. Discrimination, denying people that look like me and you jobs, opportunity, things like that. Making sure that life for us is very difficult and placing barriers in front of us and obstacles in front of us so that the achievement of opportunity and prosperity is always a hardship, a struggle, a battle. Now, that's not the official policy, but they can't say that it's not happening. Do you understand? This is political theater. That's what it is. Political theater. Just the same as they tell you there are two parties. No, there's no two parties. It's just not true. It's a uniparty. And I heard it, one of their own colonels say it's a uniparty. In other words, political theater, I'm going to tell you there are two, maybe even three. Then every 4 years, every 8 years, whatever, I'm going to place another person in front of you to tell you, oh, this person is now the most powerful man in the world. This person is the president, and he's making the decisions. No, political theater. The person ain't making no decisions. He's doing what he told to do. Period. And they're all doing that. Just like now, this brother is questioning why they couldn't get their barrack situation together. Then he questioned why, the policy is what it is about he and she and all of that. But nothing gets done. Nothing ever gets done. But when it comes to giving money for weapons and war, they all agree. And when I say all, I don't mean all like there isn't going to be one or two of them, that stand out and say, no, I disagree. I think when I was taught, I don't remember, and it doesn't really matter, but the House the Senate is 100 people, senators, and then the House is 435 representatives or whatever the number is now, and then you add them together, and that makes up the whole kind of Congress and Senate and all that foolishness. Political theater. Because all of those people, when they get together and start voting on war, they start voting on all the things that are good for the very small number of people who have investment interests in all of these different things that make them money. They all seem to agree in a large enough number to make that happen, whatever it is they want. And this is what you see here on display. And then at the end, he tells her, well, okay, all right, okay, because she responds, well, it's not, I can't say it's not happening, but, and he goes, okay, but let me just make sure it's not the official policy. And she doesn't even really answer his question because she had all that fluff in the beginning. Even if she said, no, it's not, she followed that up with, well, but I can't say it's not happening. So clearly it's happening. And then he says, okay, I'll take your word for it. No passion, nothing. Political theater. So this has been an education for you in the workings of the U.S. government's policies and how they go about arriving at them and getting things done. Political theater. Okay? All right. Hey, I just thought it was a point of interest. You guys take care. Love you all. Uhuru. Uhuru. Uhuru.
And so I think it was a social media, exacerbated by individuals that said that they were directed for that.
Okay, good. Well, I think that's progress.
And so I think it was a social media, exacerbated by individuals that said that they were directed for that.
Okay, good. Well, I think that's progress. So you're saying, I'm looking at a news article here published August 31, 2022, saying that PACAF has sent this this letter around. Leaders of the base are instructed: do not use pronouns, age, race, etc. And they go on. The unauthorized examples of unauthorized language are male, female, youngest, oldest, he, she. But you're saying that was not an official communication. That has not been a directive.
That is not an official communication from the HAF.
General Miller, let me come to you. Can you help me with something here? Anderson Air Force Base, I understand. This is in Guam, of course. Leaders there recently received an official email that.
Correct.
Okay. And so, your position to me is today that is not policy, and that they have not been so instructed.
That is correct.
This is
that
social
is not
media
policy.
kerfuffle. I mean, this is not real. It's not happening.
I don't know if it's not happening, but it is not an official policy from the Department of the Air Force.
But I take your word for it that this is not policy, and that satisfies me. So thank you, Madam Chair.